Section 1. The Electron Redefined. Since its discovery, the electron has been described, measured, and tabulated, yet seldom comprehended. Treated as a mere placeholder for charge, it has been denied the attention accorded to less fundamental constructs. This oversight marks one of the great blind spots of modern science. The most universal of all particles remains the least examined in its true nature. In our pursuit of abstract constructs, and the elaborate mathematics built to uphold them, we have overlooked the most tangible inquiry of all, a true examination of the electron and its actual behavior. According to Augmented Newtonian Dynamics, the key to understanding the electron lies not in abstraction but in process. Modern physics, bound by the assumption of wave-particle duality, portrays the electron as a probability cloud, a mathematical convenience rather than a physical reality. And theory rejects wave-particle duality. It restores the electron to what observation and reason demand, a real particle with mass, engaged in a ceaseless rhythm of emission and absorption. Through this exchange, pulses of energy conveyed by virtual photons, the electron continually self-regulates its energy, maintaining balance within a restless universe and sustaining its orbit around the nucleus itself. Section 2. The Patchwork of Fields. For over a century, the standard model of quantum mechanics has tried to describe this process in the language of fields. But here lies the great contradiction. The standard model invokes not one or two fields, but an entire menagerie, more than 60, each conjured to explain a different effect, each treated as a real, physical entity, yet none possessing a tangible foundation. The standard model does not rest on one unified field, nor even a handful. It depends on a patchwork of dozens upon dozens of distinct fields, each separately postulated, each introduced to explain one fragment of observation, yet none physically explained. These fields are not discovered, they are declared. They are written into equations, endowed with properties, and allowed to fill all space, but their origin is never accounted for. What are these fields? What sustains them? How do they arise? No answer is given, only symbols, equations, and a vague insistence that they somehow pervade space. A theory that multiplies mysteries does not solve them. There is another way. What if these so-called fields are not abstract fabrics, but woven from reality itself, from the photon sea, from the ceaseless exchange that binds all matter? What if every interaction, every force, every line of connection arises from the alignment of photons, real and virtual, forming living filaments that tie the universe together? Section 3. The Photon Within. In this view, charge is not a property but a process, a pulse of energy, a heartbeat in an ocean of light. Each time an electron releases a photon, that energy travels outward along a filament of aligned virtual photons, a line of force, until it is absorbed, completing the circuit of creation. Here lies a profound shift in understanding. The electron's charge, 1.6 by 10 to the power of minus 19 joules, is not a mere constant, not a number pulled from experiment. It is the quantum of action, the indivisible beat by which matter conducts its symphony. It is the measure of the universe's breath. Merely professing that the electron is a particle, and demonstrating how it maintains stability around the nucleus, does not explain why the electron is particle-like rather than wave-like. Augmented Newtonian Dynamics, and addresses this foundational question by giving the photon a clear, physical structure. This description of photon formation acts as the sword that cuts the Gordian knot. With one stroke, manifold problems are resolved. There is no need for wave functions, no invocation of multiple dimensions, no appeal to superposition. In contrast to the standard model, which insists that all particles are mere excitations of one or another of its 61 space-filling fields, and theory holds that photons are not excitations of an electromagnetic field. They are born within the electron itself. According to an theory, the electron is a charged particle that seeks always to maintain its base energy intact. When it acquires excess energy, it sheds the surplus by emitting a rapid sequence of electric pulses. These pulses are generated within an astonishingly brief span, about 10 to the power of 1 seconds, leaving no time for the energy to dissipate into the surrounding medium. The earliest pulses are the strongest, subsequent ones diminish, forming a stable dipole configuration that retains its structure and charge indefinitely. This configuration, massless, electrically neutral, and perpetually traveling at the speed of light, is the photon. With a physical diameter of approximately 10 to the power of 1 meters, it can be absorbed or emitted by the electron on a one-to-one basis. Therefore, every photon is born within the confines of the electron itself, tiny though it is, as a direct response to external events. Whenever the electron is perturbed or energized by its surroundings, it restores balance by emitting or absorbing these structured pulses of electric energy. Each photon thus represents not a random fluctuation, but a measured act of equilibrium, the electron's way of preserving its intrinsic state amid the changing conditions of the world around it. No electron clouds. No infinite spatial dimensions. From balance within to connection without, the photon's journey begins, and within this journey, every property of electromagnetic radiation finds its magnificent explanation. Section 4. The origin of the photon C. Before stars ignited, before atoms took form, the universe was pure radiance, a storm of light without shadow. In that first instant of creation, photons were born in numbers beyond measure, flooding every corner of existence. Yet these photons, present in unimaginable numbers, had nowhere to go. They could not pass over the edges of the universe since such a concept does not exist, so they accumulated within the universe. As the universe expanded and cooled, these photons stretched and softened. Their energies dwindled, their wavelengths grew, and one by one, they fell beneath the threshold of detection. They had gone from being real photons to being virtual photons. Yet not a single one was lost. Their essence remained, faint, stable, enduring, forming a vast ocean of dipoles, the virtual photon ether, what we know of as dark matter, and estimated to occupy between 85% to 90% of the mass of the universe. Over eons, this sea grew to fill the universe. It became the unseen foundation of all that exists, a medium so delicate it offers no resistance, yet so pervasive it touches every particle, every atom, every beam of light. This is the true face of dark matter, not an exotic substance, but the accumulated stillness of ancient light, the reservoir of creation that now forms over 90% of the universe's mass. Its properties are extraordinary. It permits the free passage of electromagnetic radiation without absorption or distortion. It conveys, through minute alignments, the tension we call gravity, and it provides the continuum through which photons travel, each real photon awakening lines of order within this cosmic sea. Thus the great mysteries, why light moves through apparent emptiness, why gravity acts across the void, find a single answer: the universe is not empty, but filled with the quiet architecture of dark matter, a living medium spun from the fading echoes of the first light. In order to maintain its stability around the nucleus, the electron engages in a continuous act of self-regulation. At intervals of roughly 10 to the power of -15 seconds, it emits and immediately reabsorbs photons in a process of virtual interaction, so brief that no energy is lost, no momentum changed, and no trace left behind. It is not the photons that are virtual, but the interaction itself, a rapid exchange through which the electron balances its energy, sustaining both its orbit and identity. This is similar to the manner in which the nucleus itself maintains stability through the continuous exchange of gluons, massless particles similar to photons. Each act of emission and absorption momentarily disturbs the surrounding photon sea, that vast, unseen ocean of faintly charged dipoles filling all space. In the instant of exchange, the photons in this sea align along the direction of interaction, forming a transient line of order, a filament of tension that links the electron to its surroundings. When two bodies stand apart, their countless electrons perform these alignments ceaselessly. The lines of order that arise between them reinforce one another, weaving a subtle network of tension, the gravitational connection. Thus, gravity is not an external field or a curvature of space, but the collective outcome of countless virtual interactions, each an act of equilibrium, each binding the fabric of the photon sea ever so slightly. Though invisible, this web of alignments exerts a steady, measurable pull, a universal attraction that grows with density and fades with distance, tracing the same inverse square law first written by Newton, now understood as an emergent property of matter itself. In this way, the quiet heartbeat of the electron sustains not only its orbit, but the harmony of the cosmos, light and gravity, two expressions of one enduring rhythm. Conclusion: The architect revealed. For more than a century, the electron has been treated as a mere carrier of charge, a point particle adrift in abstract fields. Yet step by step, the illusion dissolves. Within its tiny domain, light itself is born, not as a wave of probability, but as a structured pulse of energy, formed and released in perfect balance. Through its ceaseless rhythm of emission and absorption, it breathes stability into the atom, shaping every bond, every orbit, every spark of matter. Beyond the atom, this same rhythm reaches into the cosmic fabric, aligning the vast photon sea into silent threads of tension, the hidden architecture of gravity. What was once attributed to curvature and chance is now seen as order and connection, arising from the smallest of all realms. In light and in gravity, in motion and in stillness, the electron stands revealed as the universal mediator, the craftsman of structure, the keeper of balance, the unseen engine through which the universe maintains its poise. Here, at last, the circle closes. One particle, one principle, from which flow the radiance of light, the bond of gravity, and the very harmony of the cosmos.